That's the problem. It's like we could always just ramble for like another like 2 hours about shit, but like nobody wants to hear that shit.
I have a question for you guys.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
So, how do you guys build it?
Guy, do you want to go
No.
first?
You go
No?
first.
Like, it doesn't have to be like, oh, card for a card, but like, what is your general like
Okay.
sources you go for and stuff like that?
Yeah, because I'll go first, so that guy can get time to think, because he's less intelligent than I
Okay,
am.
wait. I want to go first now.
No, I already called it. Honestly, like, I go to... how do I even describe this? So, like, I'm a fickle bitch, where it's like, unless the commander is foiled and I like the art and the effect, I won't build it. So, like, I've had very few commander decks that I've built, and there's probably only going to be a few that I build.
Okay, wait. Not picking a commander, because I can do a whole podcast literally on picking a commander.
Right.
And I'm not kidding.
Yeah, I understand that. Like,
Once you have your commander, how do you
Okay.
go? How do you search for cards and stuff like that you would put in there?
oh, okay, I get what you're saying. Okay, so like once I've picked a... Okay, I'm glad we skipped that step. So once I have actually picked a commander, I will go to Idiot Shrek. I will see like what the basic strategy is. Sometimes I will agree with it, and sometimes, I mean, they have multiple suggestions about what the theme is, and sometimes I won't agree with it at all. There have been times where like I've looked through the themes and I'm like, I don't want to do this at all. Why the fuck would you do this? This is terrible. No.
Yeah.
So I will start off, I will admit, like, I'm still a new player, right? I've only been playing for 2 years.
I mean, I start there a lot of it.
I'll start there, and I'll go down the entire list, and I will make, like, a Word doc and write all of them down. And then I will go to Gatherer and probably spend a total of, like, honestly, I'm not even kidding, like, I have a lot of free time in my hands sometimes where I'm just, especially this summer where I worked, like, in the middle of the woods and I had nothing to do with my time. I would spend, like, a total of, like, 16 hours just, like, going through Gatherer.
Yeah.
Be like, oh, this is cool. Oh, this is cool. This is nice. And I would whittle it down from there and instead put in, like, my cards. And that's how I would build my deck instead.
Okay.
Yeah.
You kind of do what I do, but something I would suggest doing, and I suggest everybody do, is
Yeah.
to buy Tabletop Simulator
Yeah.
on Steam. Because you can, there's mods on there, and you can literally build your whole deck and play test it before you buy it. And if you're tight on cash, it's a good way to be like, oh, this is gonna work, this isn't gonna work. I had a deck that I built for $120 on there like 2 weeks ago when I was playing against Park.
Right.
And I played it a couple times, and it worked a couple times, but after that I played it a few more times, and after that I started to realize it's very inconsistent, and there's a lot of things that I don't like about it. And
Yeah.
it stopped me from wasting $200. Spending $15 on a game on Steam caused me to not spend a couple $100.
Right.
Which is something I suggest everybody do, because it'll, if you're really tight on cash, it'll be awesome.
Yeah, and I agree with that, where it's like, I think Tabletop Simulator is about $15, right?
Yeah.
And the fact that you can, like, goldfish the deck, you can play test it a couple times without having to buy the cards, really makes it worth it. Like, nothing's worse than buying cards and then realizing it doesn't do what you wanted it to do. And that's why I feel like I've built so few decks, is because I haven't built them until I was absolutely fucking sure that it would do what I wanted to do. It took so much time and so much effort to make sure that, like, the synergy between the cards was going to work. The $15 for the Tabletop Simulator are kind of worth it, and my friends have been playing it recently, and I'm probably going to play it soon in a couple weeks or so when I get back. Because, yeah, like, especially after playing Yu-Gi-Oh, I'm so tired. Yu-Gi-Oh reference number 4. Sorry. That's like, I'm so tired of spending like $80 on a card just for it to become like 15 cents in like 4 months.
Worst part about
So
Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, that's why we don't play it anymore.
But you've been on the other end of that, right? With like Magic.
Yeah, like there have been times where like I put in like $80 into a card and it becomes 120 or something, and I'm like, oh yes. There's only because I like remember, was it earlier today or yesterday? That was on the couch.
It was yesterday.
Okay, it was yesterday where I was on the couch and I looked through like all the cards I had, and only one of them had dropped in value, and it was only about $12 compared to like the net increase. It was like a net increase of like it was like
How
probably,
much was it when you bought?
okay, because like over all my decks,
Yeah.
it's probably a net increase of about at least 100.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, I'm not saying invest in Magic the Gathering. That's not what I'm saying at all. But I'm just saying it's more stable than fucking Yu-Gi-Oh!
Sell all your valuables. Just buy every single Magic card.
My house, my
Your
life,
car.
my life insurance. Okay, yeah, Guy, now that you've had time to think due to my intellectual intelligence, what do you think about building decks?
Well, first off, actually, I don't think I have anything too smart to say, but so I'm actually in the process of building my mono red deck. I've been building decks right now. I pick a commander that I like in a single color. I'm doing kind of single colors first, and then I'm going to go into the different guilds. But so with this mono red deck, I kind of looked through all the commanders and I picked this one, and I was like, okay, this play style is something that I haven't done before, and now I'm looking at the different ways that this color is allowing me to do that thing. And so what I'm doing is I'm going on to EDH Rec, I'm seeing the different types of ways you can play as him, and then I go on to YouTube and I watch a lot of like MTG Mudsta or different play videos, and I'm able to like see other cards that people are using, because like I said, like some people are going to have that flavor to their decks, and you're able to then pick up on that and say like, okay, that's a card that actually works really well, but I didn't see that on EDH Rec, so now I'm going to be able to put that in my deck because I know it's going to be really effective. I can't give an example because I'm a little drunk right now.
Damn it.
I think people should play something that they really like, and that's hard to explain to people that are new, but if you played other card games, I feel like you would have somewhat of a sense of like, oh, I like somewhat controlling the board, and I like people like stopping things from going off, or I like a bunch of creatures, and like these are the colors I align with and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if you're new, what I would highly suggest doing when picking a commander is just go on Gather and hit Legendary and hit Search. There's going to be like, I think like 2,000 or 3,000 cards that pop up that are legendaries and you can use your commander. But I would honestly go through them and like make a list of the ones you like and then narrow it down and pick one of those.
Mm-hmm. Because the one thing I want to say is like, I remember very distinctly during sophomore year when like I was really fed up with Yu-Gi-Oh! Reference number 5, I think. Sorry. And Dylan was like, hey, there's this other card game called Magic the Gathering. I'm like, I don't know. I've heard about it, but it sounds like shit. And then shut the fuck up. And then I literally went through every single legendary creature there was. And I got to Una, Queen of the Fae, and I saw what her effect was, and she exiled things. And I was like, exile? You mean like banish? That's OP as shit. And I also like the art, and I also like almost everything about the card. And like honestly, that's all it takes is like just you looking at a card and being like enamored with it. And I think that's like the most beautiful thing in the world. And that's what you should do. And I don't think anything should stop you.
Well, I think it's funny you say that because like I actually started with Yu-Gi-Oh! Too, but not to the extent you guys did. Like,
Yeah.
I played it in like when it first came out, nobody knew what they were doing. They just bought packs and kind of played with cards.
Oh.
Right?
Yeah.
That was before people kind of built decks. Now you might be a little triggered, but I stopped, and I remember the thing that really got me into Magic was I found a bunch of cards that I could abuse the graveyard with. and that
The
wasn't
GY.
yeah, and that wasn't that big of a thing in Yu-Gi-Oh. Even though that it exists, I do think it's a lot more prominent in Magic, and that was the first deck I built, and I still have that I play. You know, my white and black deck. It started out as that because I liked, and that was what got me really into Magic. That being said, it needs some work because I have it powered down at the moment. But
Yeah.
I'd just like to re-emphasize that my favorite playstyle is when no one else is having fun except for me,
Fuck you, guy.
and that's how I build
play a
decks.
vacation deck.
Build a what?
Play a vacation deck.
What is that?
Okay.
Explain it. Because honestly, I don't even. Okay, EDH rec. I don't even see that many.
Yeah, because they don't exist. And it was a thing that popped up for a second, and people started building decks about it last year. I can't remember the exact card of it, but what you do is you play Teferi's Protection, and before you play Teferi's Protection, you play this enchantment that allows you to skip your turn by paying 0. But you can pay 0 as many times as you want, and basically you skip it until you look at your deck and kind of estimate, and you'll skip your turn like 50 times, and then you play Teferi's Protection, and Teferi's Protection says you won't like have all your cards phase back in the game, and you won't basically be in the game from exile until your next turn starts. So basically you're out of the game, and you let everybody kind of do their things, and you can play some cards where it will do 2 damage on everybody's turn, and you can just slowly burn people to death. And that's a vacation deck, essentially. You basically just don't play the game.
Well, no, I want to play the game. I also don't want
No, you
people
don't.
to have fun. Like Infect, where people die to 10 Infect damage. To Avacyn, where my stuff's indestructible, and then Armageddon. Competitive.
So, you want to play the game, but make sure other people don't have fun playing.
Because
the
this is
game?
the first time you've
No,
talked
wait,
to Guy,
wait,
right?
wait. Yeah.
Yes, that is my idea.
Don't give him any ideas, Dylan.
No,
Please don't. Because you can tell him how to destroy me.
Why don't you play stacks?
I've just
Do you know what stacks?
been going through monocolor decks at the moment.
That's fine. You can do monocolor stacks. Do you know what stacks is?
No.
Okay.
You don't? You piece of shit! I thought I told you everything there was.
Basically, the whole point of stacks is to play cards that make it harder for other people to play cards. Or they sacrifice cards and stuff like that. Now, it's going to affect you, but you're going to build your deck in such a way that you can still win the game with these things going on. So there's a card called Smokestack. And it basically tells you to sacrifice. It gains counters every upkeep.
Are you looking it up, Guy?
Yeah.
And everybody has to sacrifice. I might be wrong on this. I'm pretty drunk, but you have to everybody on their upkeep has to sacrifice permanents equal to the number of counters on it. And once it's at like 4 counters or something, you have to sacrifice Smokestack, or it's something like that. I can't remember, but you play Smokestack, and then you can basically have it flicker with Brago, and you can play some other stack-like effects, and you basically are just locking down the game so you can only play the game.
Yeah, that sounds like
And that
fun.
is stacks.
Guy, I swear to God, I will murder the fuck out of you.
That being said, it's expensive. Most of the cards are pretty fucking expensive. Like, an average really good stacks deck is probably gonna be like $400. That's it.
Money is no object at the expense of others' fun.
I will murder. Okay, Guy, if you build a stack deck, I will murder the fuck out of you.
A lot of people accuse me of playing Control, but I feel like I play more tempo besides my Allura deck.
Yeah, besides your Laura deck.
Besides my Allura deck is there to lock things down, and I gain life entirely.
Well, yeah.
But all my other decks, because I do have somewhat of a controlling aspect, I play tempo, where I put some creatures out that will benefit me, but then I need to get rid of some of your stuff. It might not be the crazy.
I mean, I
creatures.
still kind of view that as control, though.
it is a form of control, but it's a little more aggro.
Yeah.
Because
I
I
guess.
feel like stacks and tempo are both forms of control, but one is more liked by the community.
Yeah. Needless to say, yeah. Yeah. What do you mean smokestacks isn't fun?
It is the most fun card, now that I have found it.
Fun is a subjective term. That's what you learn when you play enough.
Completely.
That's what you learn when you play enough trading card games.
This is true.
Mm-hmm.
A bunch of my friends have told me that I actually play too much control and that I need more aggressive decks just to switch it up. That being said, I've played everything. I mean, I told you guys I built 32 decks.
Yeah.
I have played everything I can think of. I played Artifact, I played Red, I played Black, I played White, I played Green. I've played a mixture of all of them. I played Fire Colored, I played...
Yeah.
Like, I've kind of been around, and I know that I tend to like control. But people are complaining that all my things are too controlling and they can't do their combos, so I might make an aggressive deck just to switch things up.
Yeah, because I'm gonna be honest, Dylan, like, I feel like you do play a lot of control-ish decks.
I do. It's fun for me.
Yeah.
It's just my personality.
Yeah, and I think you're really fucking good at it too. So it's like, I mean, also control decks are vastly underrated in EDH because it's like 1v3. So like, I'm on your side.
If you guys have a politics episode, I'd really like to be on it. Cause
Oh, we're going to, guys.
I think I'm better than most people think I am with politics, and that's why I'm good at politics.
Okay. Yeah.
I can talk about it for a while. But
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's the problem that we like. Every episode we've had, we're like, oh, that's gonna have to be another episode. That's gonna have to be another episode. I'm literally gonna have to binge watch all of our episodes and be like, what other topics are we gonna have to talk about? And it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, we have plenty
Yeah.
of ideas for the future.
It's a good problem to have.
Yeah. So, I'd like to...
Yeah.
What decks do you guys have problems with? Like,
What do you mean?
I know you guys are both kind of new, but like, if you play against a deck, like, are there cards you really don't want to see, or are there cards like commanders? It's like, if that commander's in the game, I'm targeting that guy because like it's control or it's hyper aggro. Like, say you're playing Edgar and it's super aggressive.
Guy, do you want to comment on Edgar Markov?
Yeah, so my friend who was on the podcast earlier, Ethan, he only has Edgar. And so it's probably 80% still the precon. I know he's added a few of his own cards into it.
Okay.
But he and I still only do like 1v1 for the most part. So it's not like there's anyone else I can go after. It's just
Yeah.
like, okay, I just need to try and find a way to beat him before he gets too big of a board presence with his vampires. Because it's gotten crazy where like almost all of his vampires will be like 5/5. And I'm just like, alright, well, I'm done.
So my biggest problem with Edgar, like, I know this is a little off topic, is that he was everything I wanted in an aggro commander, and he's everything I wanted in a vampire commander. I thought he was really good.
So what's the problem?
No, wait, let me finish. Is I thought he was kind of go under the radar from people, because when all those decks were coming out with Eminence, everybody was really hyping up. I think it was the Dragon deck or the Cat deck. I don't remember. It was one of those two. And I was like, no, the Wizard deck's gonna have 5 competitive commanders. All the Legendary Sprints are gonna be competitive. And they are.
Cats.
Except for one of them.
Yeah.
And then nobody was talking too much about Edgar. Except when he came out, those were the decks that everybody bought. So I might have been paying attention to the wrong resources. But I don't want to play him because the only way to play him is the way
Aggro.
everybody else has played him, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I like looking at commanders and doing things different. It might not be the best way to play him, but I like playing decks in a way where people are kind of surprised what happens.
Yeah. I definitely think, Dylan, you are the kind of person that's like, I see the obvious strategy, fuck that. I'm gonna do my own fucking thing.
Yeah,
And I really respect you for it.
yeah, definitely.
Because I feel like I play Sigarda like really obvious, and I feel a little bit guilty about that because it's so easy to pilot, but like, I don't know. It's like, it's still fun for me.
I think the game is more around here to have fun, and if you're having fun while you're playing, then who cares what people think?
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to be super competitive, everybody's like,
As long as everyone's on the same wavelength.
yeah. Yep.
As long as everyone's on the same definition of fun.
That's why you need to like talk to your group.
Yeah, before you start.
Yeah. That being said, like, because the way I think about decks is I don't like doing what everybody else has done. That being said, I have decks where everybody has kind of done this, because like there's no other way to play that commander. Like, say you play Yisan, the Wandering Bard.
We've talked about
It's
that
the
this
most
one.
linear card ever. I love that card, and it is so good. But if you play it, there's only like so many ways you can play it. But like, not to like broadcast other podcasts, but we've talked about the command zone quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
The command zone is an Animar deck where they played a whole
Morph?
bunch. Yeah, with Morph, where they were up down creatures. I never looked at Animar like that at all,
That's
and
cool.
I thought that was a really cool deck.
Yeah.
And
Too.
I thought a lot of people should look at decks kind of like that. That's how, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, take the card and be like, this is what everybody's doing with it. I can do something fun and like that. You're not going to win all the time, but you're going to have fun doing it.
Yeah, and I think that's just a matter of playing the game over time. I feel like Guy and I are still in the early stages where like we're still.
You want to win.
Yes.
Yeah, because that's
Okay,
what...
Guy definitely. Okay.
A lot of
Guy.
newer players want to win.
Okay, yes, like Guy, I'm a few like I'm an entire year ahead of you, and like it also might be a mindset, but it's like I don't really care about winning. I just care about like having a fun time, and like politicking is much more important to me, and so so like as you play more and more, I feel like you become more and more casual. Do you agree with that
No.
statement?
Well, wait. For me personally, or
For Magic the Gathering EDH, do you feel like the more and more you
Yes
play,
and no.
you become more and more casual?
Are you asking me or him?
Both.
Okay,
Why not?
personally,
you answer first.
I think I will always be in the mindset of I want to win.
I will fucking kill the shit out of you.
Well, no, because if I'm always in the mindset of wanting to win, I'm pretty sure I'm going to kill you before you kill me.
I will murder the fuck.
But I do agree with your statement about Magic players in general, and because I can see like getting tired of winning all the time and then kind of looking for something else to do.
Yeah.
But to me, that's just
That's what happens.
But to me, that's kind of like the point of playing a game is I want to win.
Okay. So, I haven't really grown tired of winning. I still want to win. I just kind of want to make it a struggle, if that makes sense.
For everyone else or yourself?
Myself.
For yourself.
Like, I don't want to play the most powerful OP thing, because, like, anybody could take that deck, and if you tell them, like, these are the cards you need, if you get these, you win. And I feel like if you play Magic for a while, or if you really look at decks, like competitive decks, you'll see a very trend where they use like maybe 8 different combos. Yeah. And that's how you win. That's why competitive Magic bores me.
Yeah.
I don't want to do the same thing every turn, because like I'll build decks, and if I win the same way 3 times in a row, I'll stop playing that deck even if I just made it.
Yeah.
Because I get bored. And now a lot of people might not be like that, but I want to win in different ways.
Yeah.
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 That's why I've built decks where like there isn't clear win strategies, so I can literally think on the spot. Like I want to still feel like excited when I'm playing cards and stuff like that, instead of like, yep, here I go, I played these 4, I win, let's scoop and reshuffle and do it all over again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like I'm not at that point, but I totally agree with you where it's like, if I play enough years of MTG EDH, I'm gonna like grow tired of certain like auto wins, and it's like I'm gonna rely more on like the synergy of the deck to like please let the top deck like result in my win.
Like Kalia the Vast. I had a Kalia deck.
I made an entire okay, can I tell you this real
go
fast?
for it.
Okay, I made an entire Kalia the Vast deck, and I made an entire deck list. I'm telling you, I spent like I regret to say it, but I probably spent like 40 hours just building the deck, and I don't care.
Yeah.
I know what it's gonna do. I know what's gonna happen every single turn, and I'm just like, no, I don't want to build this. I don't want the like consistency of this deck. Fuck this. I'm not gonna build it. And I didn't.
That's why I really don't like Isan. I think he's a great commander. If you only want to win, I would tell a lot of people to play Isan because he's a really cheap competitive deck to get into. I think he's around $200 to $300 to build competitively. Like you can beat the top decks turn 3 to 4. But for me, that's not fun.
Right.
Yeah, what's fun for me is building a deck like Zedru,
Yeah.
and I don't even care if I win. If I win, I win.
Yeah.
Like, I'm there to like, oh, you played your combo, well now your commander or your card with that combo is in control of somebody else. What are you gonna do now?
Yeah.
Like, fake around it.
And I feel like that's gonna happen with the experience when like a person first comes into EDH, they're gonna be like casual, then they're gonna become very, very spiky.
Yes.
Because like Guy and I are like kind of still in that phase where like we want to make a spike deck.
Well, I think you guys are spiky. Well, I don't.
We're still
know
making it.
Guy too well, but I know you guys. I know you. There's a lot of cards you don't know about.
Yeah.
And you look up cards a lot, and I feel like eventually you're gonna hit a point where it's like, okay, there's like maybe 300 good, really, really good EDH cards, and then after that, it's like boring.
I'm still getting to that point. Fuck you. I'm still waiting for that level. But yeah, that's probably gonna happen to me.
Yeah, that's like when tucking commanders was a thing when I first started. A combo a lot of people did that kind of bored me was they'd tunnel vision, except they'd tuck your commander into your deck and then they'd tunnel vision into your card and you flip your deck into your graveyard. And it was just boring. Like, nobody ran it. Like, very few decks ran it. The only people that ran it were people that were really competitive.
Yeah.
And then as soon as that went away, I don't know, like, people kind of broadening out a little bit. That being said, I wish the tuck rule was still a thing.
Yeah.
Not because of that. I think I really like the tuck rule because I think it makes the 99 more important instead of the 1.
It like makes it more like consistent, do you think?
Not consistent. I think it makes your commander not matter as much. Like, you might run a commander just because of colors instead of like Edgar, right?
Yeah.
So, say you're playing Edgar and you're running only cards that triggers Eminence with vampires, right? I feel like if you could tuck Edgar... I guess Edgar's a really bad example because it's tribal. But, okay, say Animar. Say you're playing Animar and the tuck rule exists. Somebody could tuck your Animar, and I feel like most Animar lists right now would not be able to function. Because most Animar lists right now are functioned around you playing Animar, and then you playing a bunch of creatures so they're super cheap to cast, and you cast something big like an Eldrazi for free. But if you allow the tuck rule, it's another way to get rid of people's commander instead of exile, and then they tuck it, which isn't as hard as people think. And when they tuck it, you need some way for your deck to still either A, search it out, so it needs to have some type of consistency, so it just makes decks better in general. Or B, it can run without your commander.
Yeah.
It can still generate some type of value without him.
So are you saying, like, after the tuck rule, more decks had to be consistent in their tutoring?
No, it became more meta as soon as we took the tuck rule away. So it became more like everything was focused around the commander, because if somebody tucked your commander can just get sent back to the command zone. Or if somebody exiled your commander, it goes to the command zone. If it's destroyed, your commander goes to the command zone. Basically, there's no way to get rid of your commander except sending it back to your hand, which just makes it a cheaper cost. So most people don't do that, because it's not an effective way to get rid of your commander. It was a way to make people have a wider variety in their decks instead of just, hey, I'm going to play this because it only synergizes with my commander.
So you're saying before the tuck rule, people cared more about the 99.
Then
And after the tuck rule, people cared less about the 99.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Guy, what do you think? Because you've been playing for like a year.
I kind of like that. I guess I wasn't 100% sure what the tuck rule was doing, and when
Do you want me to explain it for people that are
I would like you to explain it for me. Yes.
Okay, so when I first started playing Commander, you could play cards that say, hey, put this creature on the bottom of your graveyard, and people would play it bottom of your deck, sorry. And they'd play it on people's commanders, and it'd go to the bottom of your deck, and it was your commander, and then you'd have to run your deck without your commander unless you had a search. So you could search out your commander, put it back on top of your deck, and then play it again. And the tuck rule made it where if somebody tucks your commander into your deck, it might not be on the bottom. If it's anywhere in your deck, you can just put it in the command zone. You can choose to do that.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people would argue against me on this. Actually, I think majority of people would argue against me on this.
Yeah.
But I feel like majority of people that play Commander play it to win instead of
Play to have
a good format, if that makes sense.
more casual mindset.
Because Commander was originally made to be casual, and you guys can kind of do what you want. It wasn't competitive. Now there was a competitive aspect to it because you want to win, but I feel like everybody that plays it nowadays wants to head towards competitive without being there, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I kind of like the tuck rule because then you have to then consider how do you build your deck to win, if that then applies to you, and that's just better deck building in general.
I agree, but there's a lot of things the rule committee has made that I don't like.
Well, we could probably have a whole nother episode about things that we agree or disagree with about the rules committee.
I mean, yeah, you guys have made the ban list,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
The ban list episode.
Yeah.
Which you should listen to, not just you, Dylan, but everyone
Yeah.
when listening to this episode.
Because I could bitch about that group for a while.
Maybe we'll include you in the next, because we want to review in 1 or 2 years. Because we want to review the ban list that we talked about
In a while.
in 1 or 2 years. Yeah.
I think it's good. I think you're starting to get there because I feel like I started you out in a group where... in a better group. I don't know how to explain that or at the moment because I'm really fucked up. But if you don't have a play group where it's not hyper competitive, I feel like you're always trying to just win.
Right.
And I think you saw me realize that I wasn't always trying to win. You can play this game and have fun without winning.
That's what I wanted. Is to after Yu-Gi-Oh, I was so tired of net decking and winning turn 1 or 2. I just wanted to play a game where it's yeah, maybe I play a game, a trading card game where it's I don't care as much about winning, and I care more about the social interaction between players.
Okay.
Huh.
We are wrapping. We are getting close to the hour-and-a-half mark. Is there anything else that we want to bring up in this episode?
Mostly just like fuck Dylan for getting me into this game. Because okay, here's the thing: Dylan got me into this game, and then I got Guy into this game, and then Guy got Ethan into this game. So it's like, I don't think you realize how much like influence you've had on this game.
You brought in 3 other people.
Fuck you.
Well, I'm just curious what you, Guy, like what you honestly think about the things that I'm saying. Because like you are newer and like there's a lot of things like I'm talking about now where I would have called myself like, you know, you're dumb. Like,
You're degenerate.
You're stupid. Like I go on the EDH subreddit and there's sometimes where I get eaten up if I post a comment because they just don't understand my mindset. If that makes sense. I'm just curious, like what you're thinking about some of the things.
I don't think I'm in.
Saying, I don't care if you agree with me.
I don't think I'm in a position where I can definitively say that because, like I've said, I don't play enough multiplayer. I think a lot of the things that you've said, I will definitely be kind of now looking for, and then after playing more games, I can be able to say, yes, okay, I agree with what Dylan was saying here. Maybe I don't agree with some of the other things, but now I'm able to at least go into the game with multiplayer in mind and being able to kind of make some of those decisions for myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's something about Magic that I really like is there's people with a bunch of varying opinions. And I feel like a lot of veterans would really disagree with me, but I do feel like there's some that would agree with me. And like a card I really want to ban, not to get it on the ban list, but I really want Prophet of Kruvix unbanned. And Blake, I've talked to you about
We've
this
kind of
so
talked
much,
about this. Yeah, a little bit.
I know a lot of people have a problem with that card, and I don't know. I feel like it's Commander, not a normal Magic like Standard or something like that, or anything like that, like Modern or anything like that.
Yeah.
Should be very up to the group you're playing with, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because I know even Sheldon, and this is something we can talk about. It's you should very much make your own rules.
Yeah.
Like when I first started playing Magic, there was 10 of us that played EDH. And what we would do is we'd make a roster, and whoever won got an unban or ban a card off the ban list. And we would keep it. It would basically be a ban list based around what we thought was good or bad. And we had a completely different ban list than what they have. That being said, some of the cards they have are shit.
Yeah, you agree with some of the.
I agree with a lot of it.
Yeah.
That being said, like nobody in my playgroup saw Prophet of Kruvix as a problem. That being said, I know, like if you go on the EDH subreddit, there's a ton of people that have a problem with it.
Yeah.
I think it just kind of depends on
The meta.
your meta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I love is the fact that there's the difference between the home meta where you play with your friends and the LGS meta that you play at the store.
Mm-hmm.
Do you, Guy, like, have you been to an LGS?
Yeah. I've been.
How did you do? It's okay if you
No, I did very, very badly.
Yeah.
And I think a big part of that was because I didn't know how to politic well. So
Okay.
when I go tomorrow and when I go Saturday, that's going to be something that I keep in mind is trying to do more table talk. Because I was just kind of like sitting back and watching people when I could have said something to be like, hey, you know, maybe don't do that to me. Maybe let's think about like what this could happen to someone else. But that's also some of the people who brought those decks. I didn't really know them too well. The decks themselves, I hardly know the people. But the decks, I was like, I'm not quite sure what this is gonna do, so I'm gonna need to like just kind of watch and learn, and then kind of predict myself.
Okay. I think politicking gets easier once you know more cards.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason I say that is because I always point out the obvious, because a lot of my decks are there to seem not bad until I win.
Mm-hmm.
So I always very much point out the obvious, like, oh, this guy played this card, this is what it does. And I know you're newer and you might not know what the effect of every card, but if there's something bad that comes on the field that you know of, I would very much point it out to everybody and be like, oh yeah, this guy just played like Ristic Study, he's gonna draw a shit ton of cards off this card.
Yeah.
Even if you are newer, I feel like that's one of the more stable blue cards that you can get around. Maybe even not Ristic Study, but like something else that you know that affects the game in a bad way. I would like point it out to everybody unless it's yours. If it's yours, I'd kind of be like, oh yeah, it's just kind of here.
It's a thing that exists.
Yeah. Okay.
Blake, have you played at an LGS?
Yeah.
Much? What do you think?
EDH?
Yeah, what do you think about it?
Oh, man. Oh, I get cooked so many times. Like, every time I play at an LGS, there's someone who's, like, played a completely different, like, play style than I've played.
Yeah.
And then, so I play my deck the usual style that I play. And then, it's like, man, I lost. Because I've never seen this play style before.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, man, now I kind of, like, I don't know, play that play style. And it's like, I'm really glad that it happens, because it's like, I don't know, it makes me smarter as a player. It makes me smarter in what decisions I make. It makes me smarter in, like, what cards I play at what time. And I'm really glad that I do it. Because because, like, there's so many times where it's like, oh, fuck, I misplayed, can I redo this? And then the entire table says no, and I'm like, I'm never going to make this mistake again.
Yeah,
oh my god.
pretty relaxed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's kind of, it's a fine balance between, like, being a rule Nazi and being, like, you played a card, you already did its effect, no, you can't take it back. And I appreciate that, because it makes me a better player. It's like, there's so many times where I've played a card and done the effect, and it's like, oh, I wish I played this other card, can I take it back? No? Okay, like, I'm gonna lose, I know I'm gonna lose the round, I know I'm gonna lose the game, and it's like, no, never do that again, and it makes me smarter, and thank you for teaching me that.
Yeah, that's the good thing about playing at an LGS is it definitely makes you pay more attention to the
It
rules.
does.
A lot. It makes you realize rules, and if they weren't there in your other play group, everybody's gonna call you out, even if they actually exist. Sometimes you get called out if they don't exist.
Yeah.
Like, but you just have to look it up. All you guys have to look it up and be like, be adults about the situation, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Be adults about a children's card game.
Well, a lot of children's card games.
Because, like, Cormac, like,
Oh my god.
our other roommate, like, people I hate playing with are rules Nazis. Not that I don't follow the rules, but I was teaching Blake how to play, and when I was teaching Blake how to play, I was explaining hexproof, and I don't remember how I explained it, but I didn't explain it word for word perfectly. Like, it might have interfered with Shroud, but I was just trying to give him a basic understanding of some keywords in the game.
Yeah.
and he's just correcting everything and making sure like everything is 100%. Like, it's, I don't know, this game is very wordy,
Yeah.
and wording definitely matters
Yeah.
a lot. But I think when you're learning the game, you can kind of ignore that until you start wanting, I don't know, like,
Yeah.
start getting into more competitively, and then you can look into wording and be like, you know, like, this doesn't actually play this, like, Shroud and Hexproof are actually completely different.
Yeah, because I know what Dylan's talking about, where it's like the very first time you're teaching someone EDH, there's so many rules and so many complications. It's like, I don't want to know the nitty-gritty details, and when you do, you just sound like a piece of shit. And it's like, also I hated the piece of shit who like told me the like nitty-gritty details, because he was also a piece of shit. That's so different thing. But it's like when you're teaching someone who's like just trying to get into the game, don't be super particular. Be like, okay, this is how it generally works. And then maybe in like a couple of days or weeks, it depends what rate you're teaching them EDH. Teach them the actual rules. Like, don't teach them the actual rules right away, because it's,
Work them into it.
yeah, work them into it slowly, because like if you just like if you drop them into them right away, it's like they're gonna like drown. They are literally going to drown. And so I'm really glad that I had you, Dylan, to like teach me the game slowly and gradually over time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because who knows how you would have been if you would have taught me.
Oh,
Like, not that I'm the greatest teacher ever, but like, he was so, like, it was like that. I went to the LGS 2 weeks ago, and one of the person I was playing was super particular about the rules.
oh my god.
And I'm like, okay, if you want to play this, I've been playing for a while. I didn't say that, but like, if you want to play like this, I can be very particular about the rules. And I caught her on a bunch of things too. And it's like, even people that are really particular about the rules tend to mess up about things. But if you've been playing long enough, you just tend to ignore a couple things, unless you're in a tournament or something like that. Like, I feel like you need to be there to have fun,
Yeah.
and not there to just win. Granted, you want to win, but you want to, like, you don't want to, like, make shit, like, you don't want to have somebody crying when they leave or something.
No, you do.
Yeah,
you
don't wanna, like,
absolutely
completely
want someone to be crying.
Guy, I swear to God, I will murder the fuck out of you. I will stab you through this mic.
I
I
will
can give you a couple of
drink
rules if you want.
Blake's tears.
Do not correspond together. I will murder the
I
fuck
will
out of
drink
you.
Blake's tears for the next episode as my alcoholic beverage. That was
The guy
scary.
you just want to win. Guy you just want to win.
That would be nice.
I will fucking kill you.
What do you play? For the most part.
So I got Skittles, I got Avacyn, I got a Jace Friends Prodigy deck. I would say that's probably my most competitive deck. And then I'm working on a mono red deck right now. But I'm not telling Blake who it is.
I will kill you. If it's not, I already have played against it, and I will kill you.
Okay. That was a duo.
Give me half.
Thank you.
Sharing alcohol. They're cute.
Date. Okay.
Is there anything else you guys want to ask me that is around deck building topics?
Yeah, we kind of went on a very long ramble of...
About just other
Yeah.
shit. Yeah.
Is there any last topics that like we feel like we haven't asked you that you really want to talk about? Like rant. Just talk about whatever you want to talk about.
Just have fun. Like, seriously. I hate seeing people that are like, I feel like this game is supposed to be having fun, and if you're spending on something that's clearly a hobby, you need to be having fun. And I hate seeing people get so frustrated over their deck like not working, and I feel like their deck isn't working because it's not something they're super into, if that makes sense. I feel like if you're into it, you're really gonna research it, you're gonna care a lot about it, you're gonna find good and bad cards, you're gonna play test a lot, you might lose a ton at first. When you first build a deck, you might lose a lot. Like, I've built decks that are complete awful at first, and eventually you just slowly work on it. You just buy a couple cards every week. Say you have a small budget, put like $20 aside a month, even $20. You can just slowly work on a deck, and eventually you're gonna have a deck that you like, and you're gonna have fun playing. And that's something I wish people would be more prone to building decks towards instead of winning. Granted, a lot of new players are like driven to win, and you still want to win, but I think people should have fun doing it.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't. They're there to just smash people.
So Guy, people like Guy.
Yes.
Well, he's newer. I feel like it's gonna wear off eventually.
I'm hoping.
No, I do. You don't
Fuck
think
you,
so?
Guy.
I mean, unless there's a deck that I want to build where I'm like, I don't know how I'm gonna win with this. Like, okay, I guess, to be honest, maybe Skittles isn't the deck that I like want to win with every time, because I don't think I've built it the way where I can always consistently win. It's more like I'm an assistant to someone else, and that's gonna allow me to get at least maybe like second place. I can like latch on to the strongest player that I see and say, hey, with my infect I can take someone out for you that you think is a problem, and politic my way like that. But it's at the expense of others' fun.
Yeah, because there's definitely competitive aspect to Magic, and I think most people do want to win. Even I want to win, but I just want to win in different ways that people, majority of the time, haven't thought about. That's what's fun for me, coming up with ways that people are like, what the fuck, you won through this? And it's like, yeah. And I think it eventually is going to wear off if you start building enough decks. Because, I mean, I've built 32 decks. I've won so many ways. When I look at decks, it's like, yeah, I've already done that. I don't want to do that again. Granted, you might not hit that. I don't know. It took me a while to get here.
Okay.
I mean, Guy has played Avacyn for like how many weeks, and he still hasn't killed anyone or World Slayer.
Really?
So, I'm still gonna call him a cut.
So you've never won with Explicit?
I've never won with World Slayer.
Oh, okay.
I've definitely won with
You get
her
targeted.
before. I've actually, when we go toe to toe, me and Blake, and his angel deck versus my angel deck
Okay,
always
that's
wins.
different because
My
we're
angel deck always
angel
wins.
tribal. I will kill the fuck out of you.
Do you get targeted?
Do I get targeted?
Yeah, for playing Explicit.
Well, yeah, because it's the 1v1.
Well, again, when it was against Blake, yes, but the couple times I've played her in multiplayer, no.
Ha!
I don't think you would in a multiplayer setting, but I know when I first started playing she used to. I don't know if she still has that effect anymore. I had a buddy in high school that had an Avacyn deck and he worked on it for 2 years, and by the end of it, it was disgusting. It's just...
Block any number of creatures. The one that blocks any number of creatures.
Yeah, blocking any number of creatures and they're indestructible, and then you just make it so they basically can't be killed except by sacrifice. And from my playing, not many people run specifically sacrifice. Even though you run Sigarda.
I will kill the fuck out of you.
You haven't yet?
Thanks.
You can become invincible, Sigarda.
Ah! Well, that's beside the point. That's when you run Platinum Angel. That's the only artifact you run in the game.
Like when you played a couple weeks ago when I told you not to target me and you targeted me and I killed you.
That's different.
That's pointless.
That's politics. That's all about different. Fuck you.
That's
That's
why
the-
you should play it LGS.
That's the only artifact I will run in the deck before I die. Is that card. And if I'm playing that card, it means I have already lost. To be
Okay.
honest.
Yeah.
So that's like that's why I don't play it, because it's like if I've already played Platinum Angel, that means I've lost. It's like I'm always so behind my opponents. It's like fuck you, I'm not winning this game at all. Yeah. Guy, do you want to end this shit?
Yeah, we're definitely at a good ending point here. Now that Blake's super drunk.
You can cut some of that shit out.
We're probably gonna cut like the last 30 minutes of this.
That's
shit.
fine. We were just drunk rambling about Magic. That's
Yeah.
fine.
I think what,
But it was fun though.
I was actually kind of thinking about this, and I think it'd be kind of cool, especially to do for like future episodes, or like, so you know how they just had like the extra turns thing.
Yeah.
I think it'd be kind of cool, Blake, if we just had more of a bitchin' time. And I think if I look at this episode, I can take an hour and make like content worthy, and then I could take like the other 45 minutes and make like rambling, just unstructured conversation. That would be really cool.
It'd be cool if you made an episode where you just have everybody you've had on the podcast and they get a bitch.
Well, that's only
Oh.
2 extra people right now.
Well, that's fine, but like maybe you have more people like Park or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do want to park on the
Park
future
scares
episode.
me to have on here.
Yeah.
Because, like, as many problems I have with Park, he's really fucking smart. More or less. Fuck you, Dylan.
I could go on.
We're not gonna go on.
I know.
Okay. So we're gonna end the episode here.